Right, let's talk Manchester United now. Napoli are pushing for the loan signing of Rasmus Højlund, according to Sky in Italy. That's after AC Milan could not convince Højlund to join them under the terms of the deal on offer. Milan wanted a loan with an option, while Højlund and United's preference was a permanent deal. European football expert Andy Brassel is convinced a loan would be best for all parties.
It's a good profile of league to reinflate a player's value. And that is exactly the spot that Højlund's in at the moment. If you look at the players who've come out of difficult times, not just English players who've come out of difficult times in the Premier League to do really well there. Look at Scott McTominay's image now. You know, he's on the Ballon d'Or list. And go before that, you go Lukaku, Smalling, Young. You can go through them all, and they've reignited their careers there. Now, look, I think Højlund and United, if that is really their view, that they want a permanent deal, well, you know, I'd love a Lamborghini, but it's not going to happen. The fact is that his value has dropped so much over the last 2 years. The best thing for him and for United is to loan him out and get him to a point where he's sellable. At the moment, he is not sellable for anything near what they paid for him. Even if you're taking off the bits for amortisation, it's just not worth their while. I don't see how they can get a reasonable deal for him.
So Andy Brassel thinks a loan is suited to all parties, but why, Carve, do Manchester United not want to do a loan here?
Well, because they spent £72 million on him 2 years ago. And on paper, it makes sense to send a player out on loan, because the thinking is you get him off your wage bill, he goes out on loan, he does well. If he does well, that puts him in the shop window, that increases his value, and then next summer you can sell him. But it doesn't always turn out like that, because the flip side of that is these players on big wages, I'm not saying that he necessarily is on big wages, but we've seen other players who just get on the sort of loan merry-go-round, where every transfer window they're going out on loan somewhere and the club who's taking them is paying a proportion of their wages, but in actual fact the club who own them can't actually sell them. For instance, the situation with Antony, he played really well at Real Betis, but he's still a Manchester United player. Jadon Sancho did pretty well at Chelsea. No one's really come in for him on a massive permanent deal. It's just more loans the whole time. So I can see from United's perspective why in an ideal world they would want a permanent deal, but some of these clubs, especially like Italian clubs, are much more interested in trying to do a good deal and get a loan plus an option and, you know, try their luck in the transfer market. Yeah,
Jeff, surely like Manchester United don't want to be in a position where you've got especially those three players, Højlund, Sancho and Antony, that aren't going to be playing football. They're just going to be left there on huge wages. So surely they've got to make a decision sooner rather than later. And if they may have to just compromise and send them out on loan if clubs are offering that. Yeah,
if it's not the right time to sell, I think loan is definitely the right option, and it gets the players out maybe for a year. Like you said, having them coming into the training ground or coming in at different times, maybe to when the squad is there, it's just messy. And for me, I think just let them go out and play football. They might have a good year, and it might be a better option to sell them next year.
Jadon Sancho's played his best football abroad, there's no doubt about that, and it feels like that's the most likely place for him to go, but feels like he's just holding out for a club that's going to pay his really high wages.
I think, you know, the move has to be right for Jadon Sancho. A couple of clubs have come in for him. He hasn't felt like it's the right move at this stage of his career.
Manchester United fans will be throwing things at the screen now, won't they, saying Donnarumma, Donnarumma?
Yeah, but again, you know, United would need to sell a goalkeeper before they bring somebody else in.
Big statement for Onana of not even being in the squad and being fit against Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, big statement, but Ruben Amorim said that had nothing to do with a potential transfer. It was just that he preferred the other goalkeepers that he had. There are reports this afternoon in Italy, not from Sky Italy, suggesting that Inter Milan may be interested in taking Onana back. I think if Onana was to leave Manchester United, and there's no indication that he's going to, we don't have any information that he is going to leave Manchester United at all. But if you're a United fan who's desperate for Donnarumma to come in, the first thing that would need to happen is for a goalkeeper to leave Manchester United. And I think that would be the same situation at Manchester City. But Manchester City have signed James Trafford as well, and he played really well at the weekend, and he's got a massive future ahead of him.
I think it's going to be a real challenge for Manchester United to do a deal to sign Donnarumma, despite the fact that 99% of Manchester United fans would like a new goalkeeper, I think.
Carlos Baleba has got 3 years left on his contract. Brighton have got the option to extend that for a further year. They don't want to sell. They've got no intention of selling. And because of his contract situation, they are under no pressure to sell as well. And I think also the price would be pretty prohibitive to Manchester United, and that would make it an almost impossible deal to do as it stands, because I'm sure we'll talk about it later about the number of players that Manchester United want to get money for because they want to offload. But I think Brighton will look at Carlos Baleba and they'll compare him to Moises Caicedo. And, you know, the noises coming out of Brighton are saying that he's actually further in his development